Okay guys, in this video we look at handling dead players. So here I am in the main script file server.js, and you have this function, and inside it you have the client functions for data, and for when the WebSocket closes, and for when the WebSocket sends us an error. So as of now, the it just logs a player disconnected. Now let's try to actually, make an event so that other players who are alive on the server can be notified that this player has exited. And how would we do that? Let's see that in this video. So previously, you guys remember that in the player, in the players array, we have, it's an array. So we have one JSON object for every player, and there is a reference to the WebSocket in each player. Now, what we'll do is we'll create a reference for the client ID in the WebSocket, and this is really easy to do. Um, so what you guys have to know is the WS, this WebSocket, this thing is really special. It allows us to make custom attributes. So what I'll do here is anytime you detect a connection, I'll say WS dot client ID. So I'm making a new attribute in this WS. Previously we had made a reference to the socket object in this player JSON object. Now we are making some kind of a reference of the player's ID in the WebSocket. So I say ws.client ID is equal to client ID, this variable. So it will store that at the moment. Control S. Okay. Now when this closes, all we have to do is get the client ID. So var client who disconnected equals ws dot um, client ID. This way we have a client ID of the guy who left. Now all we have to do is send this to everybody else to tell if Jake leaves, we have to remove Jake from everybody else's screen. So for that, all we have to do is can I just copy code from up for this? I think I can. So let's just try to copy this much and edit it. We will make a new event really. This part we don't need, and I can make this variable outside. So let me just call this var string to send. String to send is equal to, and ID is this variable client who disconnected. Please don't name your variables this way. And then let's all you have to give is a new event name which says player disconnected, or let's call it destroy player because we're asking them to destroy this player. And so we have this, and for I in players, now we'll take this, we'll take every player's WebSocket object. So for that, again, players, we have selected the player. Now we have selected the WebSocket, and now we have selected the send function, and we'll ask them to send JSON dot stringified version of string to send. Okay, it's not a string yet, but still, you guys get the idea. So we'll be sending this JSON object which says the event name is destroy player, and the ID is the client ID of the client who disconnected. So that's it. And okay, wait, I think we have a few errors here because I didn't, you know, take all the brackets in the right way. Okay, so I put a semicolon there even though you didn't have to put it, so that was my mistake. Anyways, Now let's make the client side handle this. So we have a case for state update, we have a case for created you event, and now let me actually create a case for one sec. Yep, we need to add a break statement here, I'm sorry. So now a new event, so this case destroy player, and let's have in there, you know, we'll just say with or enemy, and what did we give as the ID here? We just said ID. So let's go here and put if ID of this instance, sorry, if client ID is equal to the ID, so this thing that you retrieve from the JSON object, then one sec, is there one too many brackets again? No. Okay, then we have to say instance destroy ID. Okay, this is how it would ideally work, and now let's just try this out. So sorry guys, I'm whispering, it's again not the best environment for recording. So now let's make this happen. Jake, and here let's have Alan. So now if I close this tab, it should ideally disappear here. Let's see how it's working. Okay, it disappeared, but it created itself again, and that's actually because even though we have asked even though we have asked GMS to destroy Alan for Jake, Alan is still existing in, I'm sorry, Alan is still existing on this array. You know, Alan is still in this array, so we also have to remove Alan from that array. And to do that, you know, because once we destroy Alan at the moment, he's being created again because he is in that. So we, you know, when we are in this for loop, let's try to find if players I dot id is equal to client id, then client id, sorry, it's client who disconnected, then we have to throw this guy outside the server, so outside the players array. So for that we say players dot splice, I guess, yeah, that's the function, and you have to put this this, what do you say, index, and at this index you want one element to be removed. So that's how it will work. Let me just cancel this, run this whole thing again, and let's see, wait, let me just refresh this to Jake, Alan. Okay, now when I close this, this should disappear and not appear again, and voila, it's not appearing again because it's not getting created again. Last time it was getting created because we had not removed Alan from the main players array. So that's what we have done wrong. So actually, yeah, we have pretty much we've covered the basic fundamentals of multiplayer here, and I'll catch you in the next one. And thank you so much for watching this series. I know that this multiplayer and using a raw server like Node to do game maker multiplayer is not a very covered topic. And thanks a lot for watching this. So if you guys have any doubts, I'll ask you to join the Discord server link, and you can ask me doubts there. There's a whole section for that and everything. Also, if you guys have any ideas on what series, what kind of content on GMS networking or anything I should cover next, please let me know in the comments, and have a nice day.